I have to sit down.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to ask my board of directors to please take their seats. Okay, I call this meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. and we'll start with the land acknowledgement. Associated Students recognizes and acknowledges the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of the Fernandano Tataviam Band of Mission Indians that is now occupied by our campus of California State University, Northridge. Honors their elders, past and present, and the descendants who are citizens of the Fernandano Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. Associated Students recognizes that the tribe is still here and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. Now moving on to roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon,
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez,
Here.
Senator Atias,
Here.
Senator Basilio,
Here.
Senator Baywa,
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa,
Here.
Senator Contreras,
Here.
Senator Cunanan,
Here.
Senator Dominguez,
Here.
Senator Garcia,
Here.
Senator Gavino,
Here.
Senator Kachidia, Senator Kodka,
Present.
Senator Mane,
Here.
Senator Luna,
Here. Here.
Senator Quiroga, here, Senator Radionov,
Here.
Senator Ramirez,
Here.
Senator Umana,
Here.
Senator Vicente.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. We will now move over to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Dominguez?
I move to approve the agenda for February 16th, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Cabrera Figueroa. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, if there are no objections, we will approve the agenda unanimously. Okay, thank you so much. We will now move over to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Cunanan?
I move to approve the minutes for February 9th, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Dominguez. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, if there are no objections, we will approve the minutes unanimously. Okay, thank you so much. We will now move past special presentations into open forum. Open forum is intended as an opportunity for any member of the public to address the Associated Student Senate regarding any issues affecting CSUN students. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes each to speak. Please sign in using the clipboard for minute recording purposes. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
I would like to ask for all of our former presidents, if you could please keep all comments at open forum short. Unfortunately, we do have to leave this room by 11 and we will have a networking opportunity after so you can speak to all of our student leaders then. So if you have any open forum comments, please keep them small. Thank you.
I'll
Okay,
be
James.
brief as well. Good morning, everybody. My name is James Forrester, I serve as the AS Programs Manager, here to provide you all an update about what programs are happening on campus this week. First off, acknowledge it is raining. This is a big storm that is coming through, so we'll keep an update on whether or not these events will be canceled or postponed or running as planned. As of right now, every event for this week is still scheduled to happen, but again, I'll keep an eye on the weather. Tomorrow, Farmers Market from 10 to 2:30 over on Lindley Avenue right out here. So we're looking forward to that. On Wednesday, from 10 to 2, we're doing an event called Paint and Plant out on the library lawn, where you will be able to pick up a pot that you can paint, as well as a free plant that you can then plant in the pot. And so it's a really great event. So we're looking forward to that. We have a bunch of free items along cool vendors that are going to be out there as well. So Paint and Plant on Wednesday from 10 to 2, the library lawn. And then finally on Thursday is our annual Thursday thrift program. Once again, if you have any clothing items that you want to donate, or you just want to come by and check out what items are free, please feel free to do so. Thank you all so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carlos Jimenez Salgado, Associate Athletics Director for Marketing and Fan Engagement for CSUN Athletics, and just want to give you some sporting updates that we have from this past week and what we have coming up. So, first of all, thank you to President Saravia and then Senator Dominguez for coming out to the baseball game this Friday. As you saw, we actually got a three-game sweep against Seattle University, so it's a great start for our baseball team so far. We had about like 3 home runs that game on Friday, and then we also had 2 more home runs on Sunday. So that was great for our fans to watch. And also this past Saturday, our men's basketball team beat #1 Hawaii in a rout. So they won 84-60 for their 5th straight win, and they currently beat the #1 place team in the Big West. So we're hoping good things for our men's basketball team. And then also our track and field team had a strong final meet before their meet. So we had 6 recordings for all-time top 10 performances. This was highlighted by one of our shot put throwers, Emily Hutchison. She had a personal record. And then also Walter Pierce had a 400-meter time that ranked second in CSUN indoor history. And our women's water polo, who is ranked number 25, went 2-2 this past weekend, including a 1-goal win over number 22 Pacific. So happy for the wins that we got this past week. And then also this past Saturday, we hosted our Black History Month game. So we featured a step show by members of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and we also recognized members of the Black Serving Institution work team. So some of those members include that were at the game was Dr. Watkins, Provost Kamaraju, Dr. Carol Brown, and Dr. Seth Hackett. So happy to honor them, and thank you to all their leadership for having a hand in getting CSUN to be a Black serving institution. Now, quickly for the events that we have this week. So baseball's home at 3 p.m. versus Portland, weather permitting, as you see. And then men's volleyball also has 2 games this week against number 19 Lincoln Memorial, and then on Friday against UC Merced as well. And our women's basketball team also has their alumni homecoming game and our MVP game this Saturday, where we'll honor alumni and then also professors that they have a connection with. So gonna invite some professors out there for that game on Saturday as well. And then our beach volleyball team also has their home opener this Friday as well too. So if you've never been to beach volleyball, it's pretty fun. Wish I was at the actual beach, but we got sand out here, so it's close enough. So thank you, everyone.
Is there anyone else here for open forum?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Wesley Glantz. I'm the Events and Planning Coordinator for Sports Clubs at CSUN. First of all, a big thank you to Avaro and the Associated Students for helping out our men's basketball program. They hosted a great giveaway that went really well. So I'm here on behalf of Sports Clubs just to reiterate why we are requesting additional funding from the Associated Students of $20,000. We are doing this specifically for regional and national competitions. A lot of our sports clubs have been doing really great in their regular seasons and in league play, like men's basketball, swim, women's soccer, and cheer. They've been doing really well and have opportunities to travel out of state in regionals and nationals. Historically, we have started off with around $30,000 in our supplemental funding. So this year we did only start with $9,000. So by requesting the additional $20,000, it would be putting us at the amount we traditionally start with. And we use that supplemental funding mainly, of course, for clubs who are having great success and looking for the opportunity to travel and participate in a higher level. So this funding is only going to help go towards CSUN as our name as a successful sports club program in the local and national sports. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for open forum? Okay, we will move past open forum into new business. Is there a motion on the floor? Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
I move to allocate $20,000 from unassigned contingency to sports clubs, specifically for their national and regional regional conferences.
Okay, thank you. Is there a seconded by Senator Dominguez? Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of allocating $20,000 to sport clubs, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, this motion passes. Now moving on to line item B, is there any nominations for a representative for our DEI committee? Senator Dominguez.
I move to nominate a Senate representative for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
No, wait, just nominations.
That's what.
Do you have a nomination?
Oh.
Okay. Senator Basilio. I nominate Senator Martinez Luna. Thank you. Senator Martinez Luna, do you accept?
I decline.
Senator Baywa?
I nominate Senator Emily Arias. Atias.
Senator Tios, do you accept?
I accept.
Okay. Senator Dominguez.
I move to nominate Senator Garcia.
Senator Garcia, do you accept?
I decline.
Okay. Are there any further nominations? Oh, Senator Quiroga.
Just to clarify, what day and times are the meetings at?
Senator Dominguez.
If I remember correctly, they're on Tuesdays from 1 to 2.
Okay. Are there any further nominations? Okay, Senator Diaz, would you like to give a little speech on why you would like to be in the DEI committee?
Hi, Ken. Yes, so I wrote something. Good morning, everyone. I believe that I'm a strong fit for this role because collaboration and connection are already a central part of my work on campus. As a president of 2 clubs, Michelano and High Society, I regularly work with wide range of student groups, clubs, and organizations, including religious-based and ethnicity-based communities. Through this, I've built genuine relationships, listened to their needs, and learned how to bring different communities together in a respectful and productive way. I care about making sure students being heard, valued, and included, and I'm committed to contribute thoughtfully and responsibility to the work of this committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on our nomination? Okay, seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of approving Senator Atias as the Senate representative for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, please raise your hand. Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstained? Okay, this nomination passes. Congratulations. Okay, we will now move into reports, starting with mine. Good morning, everyone. Happy President's Day. As many of you guys had the opportunity to walk around and network, there are many amazing former presidents here in the room with us. And I hope that you guys all get to have the opportunity to speak to each and every one of them after our Senate meeting. I know it's raining, so I'm so sorry. Wait, I say that like I have control of the weather. My bad. So last week I got to table for the Asian Pacific Islanders Welcome Week as well as Bienvenida. I only got to stay for a little bit because both my Tuesday and Thursday days were packed with other responsibilities, so I was really sad. However, I did get the opportunity to meet the clubs of Mecha and Tecus, amazing organizations. If you guys ever have the opportunity to go to any of their club meetings, please do so. I had a meeting with our new athletic director, where we talked about opening up new opportunities for student athletes to get involved, as well as discussing collaboration opportunities. Some of them range from being part of one of their nights that they are planning on doing. I'm going to be helping Carlos, who you guys have all met, to connect him with some of our Greek organizations for their Greek night, which is going to be our Greek night, which is going to be March 27th. Yes, March 27th, and it's going to be for a men's basketball game. Men's volleyball game. We also open up the opportunity for our student athletes to do some of their community service hours with our DEI committee, our elections committee, as well as our lobby corps for all the 3 different initiatives that you guys have all heard about. And then we as in myself, our vice president and our chair of DEI, as well as Senator Baywa, attended the Student Athlete Advisory Committee where we introduced ourselves, talked a little bit about our organization, encouraged them to get involved, and then presented on the opportunity to do community service hours. So I hope that we get some students to volunteer with us. I think it's a great opportunity for us to interact with them and then hopefully create meaningful connections. I had a meeting with the Associate Vice President of Research and Sponsored Programs, where he gave me a bit of a rundown on how the funding for our research programs is going and reasons why it's being cut, how it's being backfilled, as well as the comparisons between this year and I think it was the past 3 years. He gave me a little graphic. If any of you guys are interested in seeing it, I can send it over. I also had the Metro Survey follow-up meeting with Senator Garcia, Senator Cabrera Figueroa, Tim, Kevin, and Denise, and John Valdez, who is the manager for the ticket office. And we came up with 2 different solutions. One of them is to do a marketing campaign to advertise our U-Passes better, to encourage more students to utilize the U-Pass and buy the U-Pass. However, that campaign is going to be worked on during the summer, and it's not going to be live until the fall. So another proposal that we are going to be planning, and this is a collaboration with Chair Rosales, is that we are going to be planning a local lobbying day where we will be going to the Metro Board representatives and kind of talking to them about how our district is impacted regarding Metro, as well as asking them to revisit our community to reevaluate how the buses are being assigned to this area, because we do have about, I think it's 2 other high schools that use the same bus, as well as 2 middle schools and an elementary school. So it is quite difficult for some of our students to get their buses on time, or they have to go to extreme lengths of either staying really late to not be in a filled bus or come really early. So if any of you guys are interested in our local lobbying day, right now it is being prepared by myself and our chair, Rosales. You guys are more than welcome to ask us any questions that you have, but more information will come out. We had our personnel meeting as well as our faculty senate. As many of you guys know, there is a resolution calling for a vote of no confidence on our provost. I did share that document with all of you guys back in December. I unfortunately couldn't be here to help with the conversations. However, we didn't get to vote on the resolution because there were a few changes to the document. A few lines that were removed or altered. So if any of you guys want to see the updated version, please let me know. Instead of calling another meeting, we are going to be voting on it asynchronously. So I still have not casted my vote. I was uncomfortable with casting my vote until I talked to more of you guys. I know I talked to Senator Dominguez. I talked to our former Senator Abrams about the resolution and just how she's been affected by different cuts to our SI programs and everything like that. So if any of you guys have any input or would like to see the updated document, please let me know. And then I began planning for the ad hoc committee, which will begin meeting next Monday. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a time until last week, so we will be meeting next Monday. If any of you guys want updates on that, please let me know. We also had a meeting with the provost on Friday where we talked about bits about the resolution, but we also discussed how she is reviewing the budget as well as addressed some of the concerns that I brought up in the resolution. One of the things that she had mentioned was that they are reinvesting parts of CSUN's funding into our math SI programs as well as our chemistry SI programs. And the biggest change that she had mentioned was about the large grant program, which helps fund faculty research. Before it was that faculty can apply and have the provost give the money or the university give the money. And now instead of doing that, the large grant program is distributed equally amongst the colleges. So the colleges get to decide how the money is utilized and who gets that funding. Obviously, it's now affecting different colleges differently, but it's also opening up opportunities for the College of Arts, Media, and Communication and the College of Humanities to be able to have more research funded. But it has led to cuts within science and math, health and human development from receiving funding for their faculty. Obviously, it's a lot of things that I personally didn't understand because there's a lot of things that go into it, and it would I would need a meeting dedicated to the entire thing to fully understand how she came to that decision. But yeah, that was the main takeaway from that. I also was in the meeting with DPS with some of you guys, and it was quite eye-opening. One of the things that was mentioned to us was that SB 98 only allows verified ICE sightings to be reported to our campus rather than have it be released to the student body regardless of whether it was verified or not. So the ICE notification that many of us got on Friday, it was 3 hours late because DPS themselves had to verify that ICE was in the community, and they didn't get a confirmation until the Black House had sent a video, but it didn't confirm where it was. So that's why it took so long for the students to get a notification, because of that limitation. But yeah, that's about it for last week. For this week, I am attending the IRA board meeting, AI task force. We are having a follow-up on the AI Jam. I also have the subcommittee for the AI task force for teaching and learning. I have the police advisory committee. And then tonight I will be attending the Black Student Athlete Exchange. If any of you guys are here from 4:30 to 6. I think it was around that. I'll send out the flyer. But if you guys are free around that time, please come back to the Grand Salon and come meet our student athletes. I'm very excited for it. And then this Saturday, is the women's basketball alumni game, which I will also be attending. If any of you guys would like to come, it's a great opportunity for us to not only bond, but for us to support all of our student athletes, as we do represent them, and they are one of our student groups that isn't very connected to our campus, and that's one of the concerns that we've heard over and over and over again. So it's a great opportunity for us to bridge that gap. But yeah, that's about it. Are there any questions on my report? Senator Gavino.
Yeah, I know that ICE sighting and notification was an off-campus event. Did DPS indicate for not off-campus event, off-campus like action? Yeah. Did they indicate how far they'd be? Like if it's 1 block, 2 blocks away, if it's a mile away?
They didn't say how far they'd have to be. What Chief Fernandez did say was that because like SB 98 doesn't force DPS to send out that notification because it was off campus, but they sent it out anyway because they wanted us to know. But they didn't give me any clarifications. The meeting did run a lot longer, so I know Vice President Jimeniano Aragon is going to talk about a follow-up. But yeah. Are there any other questions? Senator Arias Gomez.
In terms of the lobbying for the transit, do you when you have dates, could you send those out and times?
The dates right now that we are working with, because we're combining it not only with the city council as well as LA County Metro Board, we're also combining it with our assembly members and senators instead of traditionally following CHES, the Chair of Legislative Affairs is expected to do a follow-up, whether it's email or letter. This year, Chair Rosales and I decided to have the follow-up be in person and have it include not only us, but students at large. So the dates that we're working with right now is April 20th and April 21st. We're gonna aim for that week. So if you would like to block it off, let me know, and I'll keep you in the loop on when it changes. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to Vice President Jimeniano Aragon.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. In recognition of President's Day, we take this opportunity to reflect on the leadership, service, and dedication that shape Associated students and CSUN. We're especially honored and grateful for the presence of our former AS presidents and vice presidents. Your leadership, vision, and service have led a lasting impact on this organization and the students it represents. On behalf of the current AS board, we extend our sincere appreciation for your continued support and for joining us today in celebrating the legacy of student leadership. As of my report, I continued having one-on-ones with senators. I'll be finalizing those this week. So we're discussing your plans, goals, and initiatives for this semester. I cannot express how proud I am of you all and how impressed I am by your ideas. Thank you for sending me your event proposals as well as updating our spreadsheet. Just please make sure that within the spreadsheet, you put the link to your event proposal template because Savanch will only be referring to the spreadsheet. So if you send me your event proposal through email, make sure you also link it in the spreadsheet. I attended the Student Systems Committee. CSUN is updating systems related to advising and DPR audits. With new softwares, students will be able to observe graphics per semester and have interactive access to their completed and missing credits. I had my PrEP Student AI workshop session with CSUN IT. A major addition from last semester session is that we will be including more IT resources in addition to the AI ones that we are sharing. And I am hoping to also include the data that we have from our own surveys on how students feel about AI. So please help me spread the word around. The AI Baseline Workshop for students is happening this Wednesday, February 18, from 10 to 11 a.m. It's going to be through Zoom. So please encourage everyone to join, to register. And then in this session, my goal is to advocate for students through spreading awareness and responsible use of AI. I met with Senator Dominguez and the Office of Graduate Studies to discuss this year's Symposium and ways in which AS could collaborate to support the event. During this week, in your standing committee, you're working on your policy agendas. As a reminder, Internal and University Affairs will present their agendas during February 23rd, and then External Affairs will present it during March 2nd. So the chairs of each committee will be spearheading this process and will be able to guide you further. Shout out to Senator Cabrera Figueroa and Senator Dominguez for their election as vice chair. I attended the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, Cabinet Meeting, Bienvenida, and the AS Personal Board. I conducted the CSUN AS Community Safety Dialogue, student leaders, and the Department of Police Services. I am so proud of the senators attending the event for having a fruitful dialogue with the DPS representatives, and I am hoping that this series of events where student leaders can have these conversations within our CSUN administration can keep going on. In terms of that notification, Chief Fernandez shared with us that he was not required to send that email. However, he deemed it important, so it did not fall under the SB 98 requirements. And he also took accountability on the fact that it took so long to send that notification. So he let us know his commitment to making sure that these process is going smoothly and that they are already working on how to do that process efficiently. We are finalizing interview documents for the search committee of the Dean of for the College of Science and Math. I had our monthly meetings with the Provost Office, discussing the recovering of season academic programs after last year's budget cut. So as President Saravia mentioned, the Chemistry 100 SI program has come back this semester, and the Provost has approved the budget for next year too. Denise reached out regarding the American Student Government Association Los Angeles Conference taking place on Saturday, February 28th. We will be finalizing the attendance list this week, so please, if you're interested, I'm hoping you can email her right now so that we can finalize that list as soon as we're able to. Once again, I appreciate your commitment to Associated Students, and I wish you a productive week. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the Vice President's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Chief of Staff, Bo Brick's report.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to make this quick. We'll see how it goes. I'll start with my report. So last week, I attended Internal Affairs on behalf of our Chair of Outreach and Recruitment, where we've already hit the ground running. And I also attended University Affairs for the love of the game. I was also finally able to make it out to a finance committee, which I found very interesting. And I'll hopefully be attending today as well, which will be run by our Assistant Chair of Finance. I was also able to meet with Denise before our cabinet meeting to go over my event proposal, and I got the go-ahead. And so with that confirmation, we were able to finalize the event choice in our cabinet meeting, and I've already begun working on logistics for that. I also attended and tabled at our elections kickoff event, which went very well. And I had 2 makeup one-on-ones, and I'll be having my bi-weekly one-on-ones this week with all the cabinet members. And then onto our Chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusions report. We have finalized logistics for the Cultural Unity Showcase and are preparing for the upcoming D&I Commission retreat to strengthen our strategic planning for the semester. I am continuing the Matador Conversation series with campus partners, including DRESS and NCOD, and will be meeting with the Advisory Committee on Non-Discrimination and Campus Culture to further align our efforts with the broader campus climate goals. We are supporting the EOP Welcome Mixer on February 18th, so that's this week, from 1 to 3 p.m. By distributing tote bags. And she's also moving forward with a mental health workshop series in collaboration with the Deaf Studies Association beginning in April, and partnering on the Entrepreneurs Expo on April 16th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday Thrift. I am also working alongside the College of Social and Behavioral Science senators on a leadership initiative in collaboration with the Cultural Houses, and she's also launching a Women's History Month Spotlight series highlighting women students doing extraordinary work on our campus. Special thank you to everyone who tabled at our last week of cultural welcomes. Each one was very successful, and I'm glad we got to honor the culture of our students here at CSUN. And then onto our Chair of Elections report. Hello, everyone. We had our kickoff event, and it was pretty successful. The motor car team brought in a great crowd, and the Celsius obstacle course and DJ were all huge hits. Thank you to everyone who helped make it happen. She also met with Denise and is now coordinating a meeting with Daniel and MIC to start working on candidate promotion. I'm also working with James to secure tabling for elections. Please note the spring elections calendar has been changed slightly. Some locations are still being updated, and the debate has been moved to Tuesday, March 24th, due to location availability. Street team applications and candidate filing are officially open. Please share the news with everyone who would be interested. And lastly, the constant reminder, there should be absolutely no elections talk in AS departments or at AS events. If you have any questions or concerns, please email her directly. And then on to our Assistant Chair of Elections. Good morning, Senate. Hope everyone is doing well. Last Tuesday, elections held the kickoff event at the farmers market, which went successful or was successful. Elections will also be tabling at the next two farmers markets. This date, the elections event also marked the day that filing was open and also the applications for the street team. If you're not planning on running for elections and are interested in being part of the street team, please contact Tommy. The elections committee meetings will be changing time and location from what was in his last report. So once that's updated, I'll have that in the next report. And I'm hoping to finalize those meetings by the end of this week. The committee is also seeking one more member, so Sheen will get on the hiring for that. And he also scheduled one-on-ones with each of his committee members. And then on to our Chair of Legislative Affairs. Hi, everyone. Busy week, and I'll try to make this report fast. I met with Indivisible Northridge again to talk about the volunteer network that he wants to establish, and it should be coming soon. He also met with Shafali to talk about updates around the mayoral programming. And then he also met with the CSUN Policy Day Committee and the Sundial to create regular meetings to catch the Sundial up on AS efforts. And this was along with the Chair of Outreach and Recruitment. And finally, he hosted the Lobby Corps meeting, which went very well. And then a quick thank you to Kiri, Sheen, Solange, and Marcelo. Happy President's Day. And then on to my last report with our Chair of Outreach and Recruitment. Good morning, everyone, and happy President's Day. This week, I attended the cabinet meeting, Senate, and my committee meeting. I also met with the Chair of Legislative Affairs and the Sundial to begin discussions about potential Associated Students articles that they can cover. Additionally, I attended our final cultural welcome of the semester. She sent out an offer letter for a committee position and finished scheduling all the executive assistant interviews. And then her committee also held their first tabling events of the semester. So they hosted two events and also tabled at the elections kickoff event. On Monday, they organized a What Do You Know About AS tabling event, where they also promoted our Attorney General's advisement survey. And then on Wednesday, in collaboration with AS Productions, they tabled at the Heartstrings event and hosted a Valentine Graham's tabling event. And then that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on our Chief of Staff's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Assistant Chair of Finance, Gali.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Apparently, our chair, Emily, isn't here. She's a bit sick, so I'll be reading her report. Hello, everyone. Sorry I could not be here today. However, luckily, the Assistant Chair, Gali, is here today on my behalf. Here are the current account balances. STAR currently sits at $164,716. Unassigned contingency at $492,418. Philanthropy fund at $4,250. Clubs and arts travel at $17,975. Over the past week, I reviewed and processed funding requests, met one-on-one with our chief of staff, held a one-on-one meeting with newly appointed finance committee member, attended the cabinet board meeting, and followed up with the students and clubs regarding their funding requests. There's also a supplemental funding request that has been presented to you all from Sports Club. For additional context, Sports Club have been facing budget constraints this year. They are requesting $20,000 from supplemental funding to be used to support unplanned events such as finals competitions, championships. And these funds would directly support student participation and help provide Sports Club with the opportunity to represent CSUN in placing and competing at a higher level. The Finance Committee will be meeting today at 1 p.m. in the AS Sustainability Center, and I will be attending the IRA board meeting this Thursday. I hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day over the weekend and got to spend some time with the ones you love, whether that's your partner, mom, or dog. It's always important to spread some love. Lastly, women's rugby will be having their last home game of the season this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Northfield. Please show up and support our games. It means a lot seeing you guys at the sidelines. Coming to my report, over the past week, the Finance Committee approved one supplemental funding request from Sports Club. I attended both Internal Affairs and University Affairs Committee meetings. We also had our cabinet meeting on Wednesday. I reached out to a few clubs for clarification on their annual budget requests and updated clubs on their supplemental funding request status. Also submitted a marketing request to work on informational videos explaining the types of funding AS provides. That's all I have my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on our Assistant Chair of Finance's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our Attorney General Maheshwari's report.
Good morning, everyone. It was great getting back into standing committees this week. Internal and University Affairs held their first meetings where we worked on policy agendas, which was awesome. We successfully elected our vice chairs. Congratulations, Senator Dominguez and Senator Cabrera Figueroa. I'm really looking forward to with the work ahead with such a strong group of leaders. Instead of external affairs, we held our DPS dialogue. It was encouraging to see so many senators speak up and share their perspectives on such important issues. Thank you to everyone who contributed thoughtfully to that discussion. The academic advisement survey is going very well too. We had over 60 responses last week. I will continue to table every week on Wednesdays, so please reach out if you're interested. Great job to those who have submitted their event proposals. I've seen some really cool ideas, and I'm really excited to work with you guys to bring those to life. Quick reminder, I will only refer to the spreadsheet for completion, not emails. So please go ahead and fill that out if you haven't already. I also want to clarify that the Dean meeting QR code should be filled out after you meet with your Dean. And I would love to see the email before that's filled out as well. Overall, most of you guys are doing a great job with completing your office hours, so let's keep that momentum going. With that being said, let's be mindful about limiting phone and laptop use during meetings unless it's directly related to our work. And as a reminder, I mean, you guys are all doing great at this. Let's continue to dress in business casual. And yeah, let's keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our Attorney General? Senator Diaz-Gomez?
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Any other questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our standing committee report, starting with Chair Vicente.
Good morning, everyone, and happy President's Day. Last week's external meeting took during the season community safety dialogue with student leaders and DPS. During that meeting, the external committee members, alongside other Senate representatives, were present, and we were able to go over student concerns uploaded to the anonymous open forum Google form. I'm going to say I was very shocked. Well, not shocked, but I very much enjoyed being in that meeting. I saw my peer senators being able to advocate for different concerns. If, like, for example, Senator, Richie, I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. Richie was able to advocate for concerns about student housing safety. Alongside other senators advocated for more collaborations between DPS and club organizations, and also DPS involvement with certain protests. I'd like to give a shout out to Vice President Hemiano Aragon for setting up that meeting and really supporting senators' advocacy during that meeting. But yeah, the meeting ended with setting up different meetings with DPS during this week, and that's it for my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our external affairs? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to Chair Basilio.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone already gave a shout out to Marcelo, but I don't care. I'm gonna give it to him again. I'm gonna get to work with Buddy. Everyone in the committee got their first assignments for last week because we did go over our policy thing, our policy agenda. We went over that. But we did already have referrals on the agenda, so everybody is already starting to work on that. A reminder to everyone, please have emails to the department managers ready so you can talk to one of their student employees. And also put something on the policy agenda so your thoughts are considered when we make the final one. But honestly, that's it for my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for internal affairs? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to Chair Umana.
Good morning, everyone. Last week we had our first University Affairs meeting. We don't have any referrals in the committee at the moment, so we actually spent the meeting getting to know each other with some icebreakers. And we also established goals for the committee this semester and worked on our standing committee policy agenda. We're going to continue to brainstorm those goals this upcoming meeting as well. Again, I'd like to congratulate Senator Alejandro Dominguez on getting elected as vice chair. I'm looking forward to working alongside him this semester. University Affairs Committee will be meeting this Thursday at 4 p.m. in the Calabasas room. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our university affairs? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our executive director, Ellen.
Good morning, everyone, and happy President's Day. It is great to see the gallery filled with so many familiar faces and faces I look forward to getting to know. I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that last week we had our first all-staff meeting for the spring 26 semester. One thing we were able to do is we were able to celebrate another Moo Day. For those of you who don't know, David Crandall had started this tradition within the Associated Students, and Maureen, his wife, wanted to bless us with an opportunity to gather an additional time this year, and so we were able to do that last week. One of the things I also wanted to do is when I returned, many of you guys know that I still had all of my historic email from the campus. And in addition to having that historic email, we were able to archive it. But one of the things I wanted to do is just search through and see things that David had sent me. So several years ago, my nephew had a very serious accident, and I was out of the office for a serious period of time. And David was always so thoughtful to make sure that he connected and just checked in. And so he sent me a check-in message. This was back about 13 years ago. He said, "Hi, Vicki, hope things are well, keeping you in my thoughts. Looking forward to seeing you return to CSUN." So that's just one of the ways that I just want us to continue to remember how David was always connected to not only the staff and students and associated students, but colleagues across campus. Next, I want to just state some other things that are important for you to know. I am so thrilled, actually, I'm elated that we have closure on 3 of our audit findings. So audit finding 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10 are officially closed. We had a total of 13 findings, so this is almost half of them. The majority of them have been submitted. We just have a couple of more that we will need to submit by the end of April. One of them is connected to your ad hoc committee, which begins meeting a week from today on Monday at 4 o'clock. So for all of you who have been appointed to be engaged in that work, it's really critical that you stay on task so that we can complete our audit. A couple other things I want to announce at last week's personnel board. We've added 2 brand new professional positions within the Associated Students. The first one is an assessment coordinator. So assessment is very critical to the work that we do in the Associated Students. And I've heard often from you as student leaders that the students, faculty, staff, campus, and external stakeholders don't necessarily know the impact that the Associated Students has on student success. One of the ways that we're going to be able to demonstrate that and communicate that more effectively is to have an audit assessment coordinator working within the Associated Students in a full-time capacity. We've sometimes had this as a graduate assistant position that's come in and come out. So we're excited that we're finally able to elevate this to a coordinator position. In addition to that, you've all been hearing, talking about, and engaged in conversation on CSU Forward, which is the new strategic plan. One of the things that we're also bringing on board will be an HR training and development specialist. This specialist will be focused on career readiness, primarily focusing on our student assistant staff, but also our professional staff, and providing the training and development to support their growth so that we can ensure that we can, again, share the way in which our students are making an impact while they're on campus and how they're ready upon graduation to enter the career field. The last thing that I would like to announce, right there, go ahead and stand up. The other exciting thing that occurred last week at our personnel board meeting is that Tim Shapansky has been entered in or elevated to the first Associate Executive Director for the Associated Students. As you know, Tim did a phenomenal job as the interim executive director over the last year and a half, and so about a year. And so I am thrilled. I'm excited. We are trying to figure out our superhero names. We think at this point he is going to be Spider-Man. We'll find out if that's for sure, but that's what Mason would like. And then I have several names that I'll have you take a vote on, but I'm thrilled and excited for the way that we'll work together to support student success, and the associate students in advancing the mission. So thank you again.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our executive director? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move past the university advisor into our faculty advisor DeMarco's report.
Good morning, everyone. Since today is President's Day, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize what you all are doing and here, the student governance. While we welcome the past student presidents in this room, it's pretty meaningful. I find it very meaningful to see. Leadership doesn't happen in isolation, so I'm really impressed. Of course, I continually say that. Excuse me. The work you're doing right now builds on what others did before you, and one day someone else will build on what you're doing. Having former presidents here is a reminder that this role has history. So history is in the making right now as you guys continue to do what you're doing and governance roles. Having the former presidents here is a reminder of that history, and it's a reminder of what you guys are going to be doing. I also wanted to use my time briefly this morning to share something that came out of a conversation I had with one of my students in the Department of Art and Design, who is an Army veteran. We were talking about campus resources, and he mentioned the Veterans Resource Center monthly event called The Blend. It's happening this Wednesday, February 18th from 10 until 2 p.m. right around the corner here in the Student Union. And it's a space where students currently serving in the military, National Guard members, and military connected students, and also their families, to connect with campus and resources. It's one of the steady ways our campus supports those who are served. I wanted to make this announcement because it was in a conversation, because I mentioned that I was here every Monday, and so he wanted to mention that to me, and I wanted to report that to you all. I appreciate when these students take this initiative to share opportunities like this. So I continually talk about these meetings with students and faculty, and so I just want you to know I advocate for all that you have been doing. Happy President's Day, and please be safe heading out in the rain. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our faculty advisor? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will go into information items, starting with our wonderful Arts, Media, and Communications, Senator Gavino.
Good morning, everyone. I'll just go down the line on my report here. For my Senate event, planning to do an on-campus creative opportunities mixer, very similar to something I did last spring. It'll bring together all of the majors from across AMC to find places to collaborate and participate in different projects or creative endeavors they're working on. It's a big problem that we've had throughout the college, and this is just a small way of trying to get the ball rolling on that. For my personal project, thank you for everyone who participated in the AI survey and got it out to your constituents around the university. The report is being compiled now and should be on the agenda for next week. For this semester, my personal project will be serving on that ad hoc bylaw review committee, which will work on things related to the audit, but I'm also excited to look into ways that we can revise the judicial court code and look at a committee that's been pretty ineffective over the last 2 years that I've been here in student leadership, and make it effective and work for the students. Looking towards in internal affairs, continuing that work. and kind of shifting the role of that committee into one that can advocate for students, whether it comes to disciplinary compliance, academic issues, issues with DPS, the MIC, anything that can connect our students to those resources and make sure that those resources around the university are working for them, not just associated students. And then just with my office hours, I have a meeting with my deans for next Tuesday. I serve on the TUC board, AGA board, AI task force, Matador Ops committee, and Campus Fee advisory committee. So if you have any questions about those, let me know. And then I just wanted to briefly talk about last Friday, I was invited to to a presentation by Irvin Rendon, who's the manager of the Dream Center. If you remember from last year, we allocated $20,000 to the Dream Center to support their goals in helping undocumented students and mixed status students at CSUN. And they've taken that money and they've developed a fellowship program, which is going to be called the Impact Fellowship Program. It is called the Impact Fellowship Program. It stands for Investing in Mentorship, Professional Advancement, and Career Training. So Impact. They're in their pilot year right now. They have 3 fellows that are running out of the Dream Center that are basically working to develop what the program's going to look like in the future. They're able to secure funding from the USU to expand the program over the next 4 years. And basically what this will do, you may know that undocumented students at this school cannot work on campus. They don't have work authorization. A lot of them can't do any research assistant opportunities because those require work authorization. One opportunity for them is to get employment under what's called a DSIG grant, which stands for Dream Act Service Initiative grant. But only about 8% of our undocumented population has access to that because you need to receive Cal Grant A or B. Another option is the California College Corps, which we just got approved for 3 weeks ago. But then this third option will be this Impact Fellowship, which is honestly the most flexible option. And it's an option that will be paying students monthly for the work that they're dedicating to a year-long project that is going to help the campus community instead of getting the money at the end of a semester or doing all the work and then receiving the money afterwards. But yeah, it looks to be a great program. Let me know if you have any questions on it. And then they are going out right now into the community, campus community, and looking for both site mentors, so people to like work with in the grant, different departments around the university, and also people to participate in the fellowship program. So if you have any professors or managers that'd be interested in hosting a fellow, definitely let me know or contact the Dream Center and they'd be happy to connect you. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our Senator Gabino? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our beautiful Business and Economics Senator at the Estes report.
Hi, everyone. I will start to say that a lot has changed since my report, so please bear with me. Last week, I met to my one-on-one with the vice president, and for my Senate event, now I'm working on something a little different. On my report, it says that I'm doing a networking event, but currently I'm working on something more social, that it's also a place that you can network. I want to do a study with the Senate, and I'm going to work with my co-Senate as well. And it's going to be like social and more like networking event, and it's really exciting. And we're not going to limit only to the business school, so it's going to be really exciting. For my personal project, currently I'm working with Attorney General. We're having a survey about advising. So if you didn't fill it out, please come up to us after this meeting so we can share this with you. And for the standing committee, I'm serving at the University Affairs Committee. We met last week for the first time, and we still don't have any legislative affairs. So probably next report, I'm going to have more to share. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on Senator Atias's report? No? Okay. We will now move over to our amazing education Senator Quiroga's report.
Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. I know it's raining. I love the rain personally, but I know some people don't like it, but we'll persevere and push through. On my report, it says my Senate event, I didn't have an idea, but now I do have an idea. I am going to do a Deaf President Now watch party. For those of you who don't know what Deaf President Now is, it's a documentary based on the Deaf President Now movement of 1988 when students at Gallaudet University put the board of trustees appointed a hearing president for Gallaudet. Gallaudet is the first deaf university in the world. And they appointed a hearing president, and then the students protested and rallied until they got a deaf president. So then that documentary is based on that process and how that went. So I'm doing a watch party of that. The actual date that I finally finalized the protest back then was March 13th, so I'm planning on doing it that day to kind of celebrate the anniversary of it happening. So hopefully y'all can come and please watch the movie. It's really great. Next up, my personal projects. Now that all the presidents are here, I'm gonna soft launch a little thing for y'all. I have been planning on doing a alumni ball for all of AS. So basically getting all past boards and our current board and then the future board of next year and all in one kind of big ball to kind of like do like a past, present, and future thing. So our current board can give, give advice to the future board as well as all the past boards behind them. So since all of you presidents are here, I will network with all of you later and probably talk to you all about contacting your past boards to get them invited to this event. I've been working with Director Allen a little bit on this as well. She has some contacts for me to contact as well. So hopefully this will be a good event. I want to do it a little bit after elections, so that way we have our new board for next year to come to this event as well. So please don't you're looking for that, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any questions on Senator Quiroga's report? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will move over to our incredible science and math Senator Radionov's report.
Good morning, everyone. For those I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is George Radionov, and I'm the newly appointed senator for the College of Science and Mathematics. Since my appointment, I've worked diligently to collaborate with student leaders such as my co-senator Katka, Attorney General Maheshwari, and Vice President Himanio Aragon to begin outlining what I aim to accomplish this session. To summarize my report succinctly, Senator Katka and I have developed a timeline that begins with releasing a college-specific survey to gauge student involvement in research opportunities and CSUN-affiliated programs, as well as how prepared students feel for their careers after undergraduate studies. In parallel, we have also been working on a personal project to create a database of high-performing students from target courses that serve as prerequisites for research labs and connect them with the laboratories seeking volunteers for the summer and the fall research sessions. Finally, as for our event proposal, we are planning an event featuring a panel of professors and industry professionals who will share guidance on how to succeed during and after undergraduate studies, followed by a networking mixer. Through these projects, my ultimate goal is to create a clear pathway for these hard-to-access opportunities in my college, which will result in strengthening students' foundations, supporting faculty, and building a stronger alumni network after graduation. I look forward to continuing this work and updating the board as these projects develop. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions on Senator Radionov's report? Senator Arias-Gomez?
Permission to be recognized.
Granted. Okay. If there are no questions, Vice President Jimena Aragon?
I move to reopen open forum.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Dominguez. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, if all those in favor of reopening open forum, please raise your hand. Okay, perfect. Thank you. We do have to leave the room by 11. So, but you guys have the opportunity to come up to the podium and just introduce yourselves to our new board.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Diana Vicente. I was AS President 2019-2020. Thank you so much for reopening open forum. The coffee hadn't hit yet, and we're all just waiting for our turn to come up. But it is a pleasure to be here. It's always an honor to come back and visit you all. I currently serve as the Senior Field Deputy for Councilmember Ulises Hernandez for the City of LA for Council District 1. Like I mentioned, it's an honor to be here and talk to you, especially in a year like this one, where our city is depending so much on young people like you and your voices. I can't even begin to go down that route of talking because we have to be out of here by 11. But the biggest thing that I have to say is that we need you all. We need you to get involved. We need you to vote. We need you to be out there in the community, and we need it yesterday. I heard a little bit about the ICE report, and that's something that's been hitting my job and my community very deeply. I personally know a lot of families who have been taken. We are providing them rental assistance. We are providing them food assistance, but this is just gonna get worse. It's not gonna get better. anytime soon. And I think it's really important, if I can say one thing, is that I know that there's a lot of expectation for our government to follow certain rules, for our government to follow certain policies, certain laws when it comes to human rights. They are not doing that. And it's important that you know that there is no backfiller, there is no safety net that is going to come in and protect the families. It's up to you all. And that reporting system that you all are working on, that's incredible, and shout out to the university for doing that. But I can tell you, at a government and a local level, we are doing that ourselves. We are depending on community, letting each other know about ICE sightings, letting each other know about whether or not they're real, reporting that, talking to their neighbors, and informing out the rest of the community. There is no perfect system for it. We're building it as we go, and we are really counting on you to build that with us. So that is part of your responsibility as student leaders, is to represent that with the rest of your community. And I'll leave it at that, but there's a lot more to say about it. I will just say that your time here is so valuable. Every single person that you meet here is so important, that you make those connections that are going to follow you into the rest of your career world. I know for myself, I made my lifelong friends here. Some of them are here in the audience today, and so we all still get together. We all still talk about our time in AS. Some of my biggest mentors were built in this room. And the reason why I am the person that I am today is because of the stuff that we learned when we were in those seats. So do not take any day for granted. Your job is massive, but you have such a support system here to help you with it. And I am plugging in CSUN in the workforce every single day. Every time I see someone at City Hall that is from Cal State University Northridge, I scream, "Go Matadors." I'm expecting more of you to come out there, more of you to join us. And really, I love the idea of the Alumni Bowl. I came into today thinking that it's time for alumni to get a lot more involved. It's time for our student government leaders of the past to come back and really provide that guidance. And so please sign me up. Anything that you all need from us, let's talk about it and make it happen. This is really a lifetime opportunity, so please do not take it for granted. And the last thing I'll say is my shameless plug that my sister is a senator this year, and it is such a pleasure. I am so incredibly proud. I can't tell you how much it means to me to stand here in those seats, to have been president, and to now see her in that seat. It's everything to me. Thank you all so much. Go Matadors.
I didn't know if there was a line sitting down, so I just waited. Hello, everybody. I'm Lupita Montoya, class of '89. I was vice president and that infamous spring of '89 before I left for graduate school and left LA. And I was an academic, so within other spaces, the legacy of what we learned in this campus, which was perfect for me, it was not just the academics, but also the activism that comes with organizing people and representing your people with the spaces where you're not supposed to be in. And so how do you go about doing it in different ways? So I'm back in California to retire, and after being away for decades. And one of the things that I wanted to do first was to become involved as CSUN, as an alumni. One of the first things that we determined was there was no alumni in the School of Engineering. By the way, I'm an engineer. So everything has to have a way, and there was no way. So they were speaking about the possibility of creating. I want to report that we officially have a minority engineering alumni chapter. Of course, it takes a little cajoling, but it's happening. We got approved in December. We are looking for opportunities to engage with the campus where our leadership, we have different subcommittees. And one of the things that I really like to do is bring in the different spaces where I benefited tremendously on this campus. So the center was one of those places. I started as an engineering center, and then I became the vice president. But I also was in SHIP, and very lightly and much, no time for that. But when you put together all those different identities, then you become that person that you get to go, and then you take that in other spaces. So one of the things I've been working very heavily on is to represent people of color, especially women, in the spaces where we are usually not. So I mentioned to somebody here about, the fact that we would like to get more engineers into spaces like this. as well as we want people to be comfortable with the fact that engineers can be leaders. They can care about people, and we can dedicate our lives to do things for society as opposed to, making the biggest gadget that can make us money. So I just want you to expand your vision of what an engineer can be, and also look out for us, because the MEP alumni is looking for opportunities to work, and I would love to work with the Senate and associated students and activities. So thank you for the time, and thank you for opening the board. Thank you again. Thank
Where's our engineering and computer science senator? Please raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone else here for open forum?
Some of you may know that I was a speech professor for my career, and that this should scare the hell out of you. But no, this is actually my horoscope, because in college I learned that science is good for some stuff, but the real stuff was in alchemy and horoscopes. And mine was just too precious to share. And I heard that a number of you, in comments you made, might feel the same way about your role in life. When you have fun, others catch on to your joy. So don't worry about being seen. It's good for everyone that you are. So there you have it. I was a student body president in 1966, 67. Those were important years in the history of our country. And I started college in 1962 in February. My name is John Cagle. Yes, the John Cagle. In more recent years, I've been privileged to be part of the planning for some of the fundraising events that Northridge had. In the days we were there, it was Valley State, but I was with a number of friends, and Jolene Kester and I finished our PhDs, not at the same university, but the same year. So she was a lifelong friend. We taught the same stuff. Actually, her husband taught the same stuff, but he was in San Diego. Anyway, there's a long history there. But I started coming down to the San Fernando Valley because my wife had a very distressing illness. She had some form of dementia. And I had something my doctor called caretaker stress. So they sent me down here to kind of get a break from caretaking so I could continue to take care of Eve, and we did. So I started hanging around with friends from North Hollywood Junior High, Oxnard Elementary, San Fernando Junior High, San Fernando Senior High, and so forth. And now we're all in our 80s. Yes, some of us will live to our 80s. So I've made it that far. And there are a lot of things that we talk about, and particularly those of us that were from San Fernando, the rich, multicultural student body. We all had friends across the spectrum. No matter what you were majoring in, there were friends from different ethnicities, religions, et cetera, And we reflect on that and what a joy it was. And then we see the Los Angeles Times for the last year, and it's just, well, we use stronger words, but depressing. The things that have been challenged in many aspects of our society, not the least of which is education, our freedom of speech, the programs that we've had for equity over all these years. And some of us started sharing things we'd learned. Like my father was a substitute teacher, but also was a cameraman, and he made documentaries for the Board of Education, a bunch of them. And he knew a lot of people there. So he retires decades later and says to me, John, I think you might find this interesting. At San Fernando High School, You had all this rich environment. Well, it was the actual Board of Admissions policy in Los Angeles for all of Los Angeles County that San Fernando High School was the only school minorities could go to, with the only exception being Canoga. Canoga High was allowed to have Mexicans, but not Armenians, not blacks. It was all San Fernando. And then reinforcing that was the banks. The banks wouldn't loan money to buy houses anywhere in the San Fernando Valley with, you know, the thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. If you were Armenian, if you were Japanese, you had to, the only place you could buy a house was in San Fernando, Pacoima, the area, Silmar. And I never knew that when I was a student here. You know, all we knew was there were very few black students. And as I remember, they were if they were involved with one of the athletic programs. But there were very, very few. And over the course of things, we knew who they were. There were a number of things that you think about, like student loans, you know, and whoa, let's forgive student loans. Well, when I started, you didn't have to forgive anything. There were no student loans, not until about 1965. And so things were growing. You'll have a beautiful campus here. Well, we almost didn't even have a campus. Lindley was a big river, went by, and they had a bridge that would go over, and it would be just like the LA River, just roaring with water and all that stuff. So I was privileged to be here in those earliest days when they were building buildings and student government was finding its way, what was its role, and things like that. So in my life, I found that there were things that my years as a student in San Fernando and even here motivated me to do forever. And I'm saying to each of you that as you go into your careers after you graduate and leave school, there will be ways that you can have some influence on things, you know. And in my life, I ended up going to Fresno State University, and I taught there my entire time. I got involved the very first semester I was there with the Educational Opportunities Program, which had just started. It was like less than 2 years old. And we were experimenting with something to acculturate students over the summer, that if you just plop students in the classes, they might not succeed, you know. Like even little things that would be very ordinary, going into a cafeteria and eating. Many of the students that we had never in their entire life eaten a single meal outside of their homes, never. So the whole environment was new. So we started a summer program, and we worked together with the La Raza and the ethnic studies programs to create a culture class that students would explore culture in their role and any aspect of culture, whatever they would like to study. And then I was brought in, and we had a course we developed called Communication and College Skills. The English department didn't teach writing term papers. That's beneath us. We write literature, you know. So I said, well, that's great. They have one 3-unit course that they're not going to have to write a term paper in. Every other GE course, you have to write a term paper. So we're going to teach them how to use the library. We're going to teach them how to use footnotes. We're going to teach them how to write a classic term paper. And we did. And many of you, I was listening to your reports, and so now you have a person dealing with assessments. How good are we doing? And how can we let other people know? Well, when you're involved in doing activities, planning them, doing them, when you're done, all you want to do is sleep for a couple of days because it was a wonderful event, but boom, you're done, you know. So what we did was create an environment in which we were very successful, and we knew the students were successful because the library thought we were wonderful. They were scared crazy. You're going to turn how many 200 students loose in my library? You know, but they found that students learned how to use the card catalog. We didn't have internet. We had mainframe computers, but you couldn't do that kind of stuff. So you had the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature and so on. So our program was designed to get the students ready, and we attended to the fact that that part of culture is families, how important families are. So we always had a culture foods night, and the faculty wrote, we made all the food, and we invited the students to bring their families. And so we had a big, wonderful thing. So in the course of doing that, we would then move on to the next task, and we would do it. So it was many years later that Leah Cardabruno was on a legislative board at the state level, and she was involved in a project to find out why some universities had students that were in like an EOP program, and they never kept the students. Cal State Dominguez Hills was the archetypal case. 2,000 new freshmen every year. The next fall, there'd only be 30 of them left. So that's a waste of state money. That's the argument that we heard. So they did a study nationwide. Who can take at-risk students and get them to be successful? And it turned out Fresno State was the 4th highest graduation rate in the country. And it was all because of our program. So out of that, the Summer Institute is what we did in our summer. It became the Summer Bridge program. That was part of it. So it was just one example of where things that motivated you when you were younger stay with you your whole life. And so I stayed working with the EOP until I retired. And then I've always supported the events and gone to the things, you know. But so I'm always proud to come back to the campus because I see people that had some of the same issues we had when we were students. They were maybe a little smaller because we had smaller numbers of students, but it's just a really great thing. And the work that you do will give you skills you can use forever, you know, like parliamentary procedure. Boom. You know, who goes to the bookstore with their mother and says, "Mommy, would you buy me Robert's Rules of Order for Christmas?" No, but you're going to know that, and that'll make a difference in your life. So anyway, so, you know, thank God for the horoscope I got to explain me. And I just love being here and love you guys, and God bless. And God bless America too, because it's, as Bad Bunny said, it's our America too.
Well, good morning. My name is Gary Wartek. I was the AS president in 1865, no, it was 1965 to 66. I'm going to give you a little bit of background, both of myself and the college. At that time, it was San Fernando Valley State College. I graduated in 1966, a year ahead of Dr. Cagle, from whom you just heard. And Dr. Cagle is a representative of a whole class of friends that I made on the AS Senate and throughout California, because as AS president, we traveled to the CSCSPA somewhere, I guess, 4 times a year, and we were able to make some lifelong friends. Very, very important. You can have family, friends are very important. At the time we graduated, there were 14,500 students at the university. At that time was the college. And today I think we're at around 40,000 FTE. Okay. When I graduated, I went to the University of Southern California and earned a master's degree in public administration. Here, I earned my degree in economics and in political science. And with those degrees and with the connections that I made here as part of the leadership of the campus at that time, I moved into the public sector and then the private sector. I retired 10 years ago as Director of Economic Development for the city of Thousand Oaks, a city of 130,000 people. It was an easy job because it was just a wonderful community with many, many jobs. My job was to raise more jobs. But going back in history, after graduation from USC, I came back here. Went to the state legislature, serve on the staff of the Assembly Education Committee, and then I was recruited by the new president of the university at that time, Dr. James Clary, for whom Clary Walk is named, in case you wondered who is that Clary Walk named for, James and Mary Clary, to serve as his administrative assistant. That was not a secretarial job at that time. It was a job that involved speech writing. I was director of alumni and governmental affairs. At the time, Ronald Reagan was governor of California, and without being political, he was somewhat anti-higher education, in particular because of the war, the Vietnam War, and the protests that we saw on campus. We didn't have those protests much here until around 1967 or 68, but they were kind of born at the San Francisco State University, then San Francisco State College, and he began cutting back. And the certain members in the state legislature from this area, most of whom were Republicans, were voting with the governor. My job was to go back to Sacramento, where I had spent 2 years, and bring those people into line. What that meant was that we had luncheons with Dr. Clary and each of our state legislators on a quarterly basis. And by the time we had 2 of those quarterly lunch meetings, they came around to understand the value of higher education. Not everybody was a protester, and in fact, protesting was a right anyway. And we were able to collaborate with these legislators, state assemblymen and state senators, to gain the kind of funding that we needed at that time to expand the campus. And part of that funding allowed this building and several other buildings on this end of the campus to be built, but also for faculty salaries, which we found quite inadequate, probably are still somewhat lower than they should be today, but we were able to turn that around. My point being, very simply, we were part of the leadership, we were part of being involved in the community, as Dr. Cagle suggested, and we generated results. So in conclusion, I would tell you, I thank you for your service here in the Student Senate. Your job here is to make this a little bit better place when you leave than when you found it. Thank you.
My name is Carlos Fuentes. Yeah, Fuentes. And I've served as student body president here 1978, 79. And I really don't, it was a different world. You heard that, okay? I'm not gonna bore you with, yeah, we drove gas-powered cars and with clutches and looked for parking spaces that didn't exist, just like now. I was a baseball player. I came to CSUN. I was one of those that got out of the neighborhood as an athlete, and I came to CSUN as a baseball player. I left here as a student body president. And I tell you that story because I was on a committee, and let me tell you my background here, and ultimately, I was a baseball player. My wife was a basketball player who I met here, a Hall of Fame basketball player who I met here, and it changed the direction and the course of my entire family's career. Meaning now I'll give you the background. My dad finished the 9th grade. My mom finished the 6th grade, crossed the border in 1956. Never did they imagine that they would have 40 people at their house painting billboards for their son's campaign. And of course, if you go to a Latino house, mom feeds them all. Okay. And ultimately, that changed the direction of my heritage, where I'm going. One of the things that I am filled with pride is to see the diversity in this room. I did not have the luxury to see that. Okay. But I worked for it. I worked hard for it. Okay. And now today, I sit on the TUC board and I sit on the Diversity Commission here at CSUN. I never really left this place. I mean, and I'm nothing because there's a guy over here who's a dean of a, he never left this place. He just walked out, okay? But I mean, that's what happens. You fall in love with this place, you have a passion for it, and you want to work for it. That's where I'm at today. I'm involved in athletics. I'm you know, with the baseball and trying to get lights and all the stuff that we've done. And, you know, 25-year season ticket holder of the basketball. And I love the idea of alumni. We don't have a homecoming. I was here and fortunate enough to finish the football program here. But we had, I was president. One of the last things we had was a homecoming, and homecoming kings and queens and all that. And we had it on the football field. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that tradition of anything anymore. So even if it's only for AS, it's great. It would be great to have. But I want to talk about you guys for a second. I think Diana hit on it. Your opportunity to sit in here and make the connections and do the things that you do for your future, whether you come back to CSUN or not. This place will always have, somewhere in your heart, will always have that springboard of where you're going. But take advantage of it. Don't take it for granted. Take advantage of it and work hard for your constituents, because that's what you're here to do, okay? To change that. You know, I was fortunate enough to be involved with what was CSUN at Canoga Park High School. We 25 students came to see if we can graduate them in 4 years. Okay, we selected kids who's just the same story I just told you. Parents came across, they didn't know. Can you graduate in 4 years? And I told them the same story. I said, your life is about to change. Why? What are you talking about? We're just going to college. Yeah, you're going to go to college. You're going to be in classes. You're going to meet somebody who's also in college. You're going to get married and you're going to have kids. Do you think your kids are going to go to college? Probably, which means now you've just changed the direction of your entire heritage. That's how important this place is. Why? We're an HSI, and in about 2 weeks, we're going to celebrate the idea that we're a BSI. So the stories I'm telling you right now is what this campus is going to be doing, changing lives and directions of the background of people. And that's huge. That's why I love this place. And that's why I continue to give back to it. So think about that. Keep doing your jobs. Congratulations. And we'd love to be involved. I mean, we're all here. We're all giving back and speak to you guys, whether it be at a retreat or somewhere else. But thank you very much for this opportunity. Look forward to talking to you guys more.
Thank you. We only have time for one more open forum comment because we still have legislative referrals to assign, and we want to take a group picture because it's raining and we would like to take it indoors. I'm so sorry.
Good morning. David Phelps, AS Vice President, 99-2000. What I just briefly wanted to mention or talk about today is the idea of lasting impact. And everybody that's sitting around here today, you're really ahead of the game. both in, personal and professional development, in making your experience at CSUN more than what has historically been considered a commuter campus. What all of you are doing is creating that college experience for yourselves right now. And there's a lasting impact both on what you're doing for the campus today, but more importantly is the lasting impact it's having on you and how what I did here and what all of us sitting here behind me did has had a lasting impact on what they do. And I wanted to just give you a brief example. I serve on the Los Angeles County County Governance Reform Task Force, which is undertaking a huge effort to rethink the way that LA County government and governance, the structure of county government is implemented. And right now we're in the midst of creating a new executive branch for the county that hasn't existed previously. LA County Board of Supervisors is generally run and administered by 5 county supervisors. There is no elected chief executive, but in 2028, there will be the election for the first, what is essentially a county mayor. This opportunity is something that, political science professors would dream about because we're just so in the weeds in policy. And I don't think that, this opportunity would have been possible without the leadership involvement that I got through Associated Students. And during the first meeting of the Reform Task Force, there was some stonewalling being done on a particular issue that I won't get into. But, an hour and a half into the debate, I started having AS Senate flashbacks. And hour and a half in the debate, I raised my hand and I just said, call the question, please. And nobody knew what that meant except for the parliamentarian in the front. And he finally said, okay, all debate is closed. There's no discussion. And everybody kind of looked at me and I go, where did you learn that? And I said, CSUN Associated Students. And just that that's an example of one small lesson that's stuck with me that comes up in, what I do. And just keep that in mind as you move forward. Also, I wanted to mention that Eric Schockman's MPA class, they are doing direct research on behalf of the Reform Task Force in the areas of ethics and executive powers. And so they are actively contributing to this effort. So I just wanted to mention that. And, the last thing I want to mention is about our country and the state of flux. I'm very concerned. When I was a student at CSUN, I was not what you would consider traditional activist. And I always felt like you could fix things from within. And I still feel that way, that the best way is to engage from within and not from without. But what is happening with the federal government right now and what is happening to our rights, both as citizens and non-citizens who both have rights, is unacceptable. And we need all of you here to stand up and speak about it. We have to. This is, DEFCON 5 here, for me, at least. And we're not, we have to remind ourselves about our history and where we're headed. And we have to speak up. Normal discussion is not going to win the day here. So I just wanted to leave with that. I'm sorry that I'm the last person to speak, but.
You're not the last.
Oh, I'm not the last.
No.
Okay.
I am David Phelps. It's called a filibuster, so you guys will learn about this in your civics class.
Yes, I was waiting for Paige and Josie to.
That's all right. We're not going to be long, but we just wanted to show you quickly how to organize. So, I'll just introduce myself and then I'll pass it on. I am David Phelps, but not really. Joaquin Macias, AS President, 9899, and I will let my other former members introduce themselves.
Amazing. Thank you. My name is Jonathan Hay. I served in 2021, 2022. I was the post-COVID president, so had that opportunity. And super awesome to be here and look forward to meeting you all very soon.
Hello, my name is also David Phelps, but I also go by Cheyenne Moshtail, Student Body President 2223. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Josie Anderson. I was the vice president in 2023-2024.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paige Hodgeloo. I was the president 2023-2024. I was like frantically preparing talking points in the back, but we'll talk about it at the mixer. And if you have any questions, I'll be there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Iman Khan. I was vice president just last year.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Kroom. I was AS president last year, too. So good to see you all.
Oh, wait.
I remember to. Is there someone else?
No.
I'm just
Did you have anything else?
No, this is it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm still a CSUN student. I should come here and talk about my concerns so you guys can advocate.
Bro, okay. Okay, thank you. It was so nice seeing all of you, and we will have the opportunity to mingle, and you guys will hopefully get a tour of the Valera Nest. I'm not sure. Hopefully the rain didn't ruin those plans. Okay, we'll move past discussion items into legislative referrals, starting with Marcelo, who submitted a legislative referral titled "The Creation and Implementation of Code on Student Safety, Review Codes and Contracts for Department of Police Services, Prepare Guidelines and Requirements for All Campus Partners and Auxiliaries that Serve in a Security or Protective Nature for the General Safety of Students, Codify Recommendations from University Affairs in Internal Policies and as a Minimum Requirement for All Future Security or Protection Contracts, Prepare an AS Policy Governing Minimum Requirements for All Campus Security or Protection Partners to abide by and to comply with for yearly review and approval by the AS Senate." This was suggested to go to Internal Affairs, and it will go to Internal Affairs. We will now move over to our second legislative referral, also submitted by Senator Cabrera Figueroa, titled "Reviewing Campus Policy Contracts of Safety Partners." The request is receive and review any and all relevant active and expired Department of Police Services contracts with the school to understand how AS leadership can support student concerns regarding safety, engage the campus in dialogue to accurately represent students' concerns, compile student recommendations, and discuss with partners to address these concerns and propose revisions to be included as a priority in future iterations of the contract. This was suggested to go to University Affairs, and it will go to University Affairs. The next one is also submitted by Senator Cabrera Figueroa, titled "Maximizing Campus Responsiveness During Local Crises." The request is to review and improve the timeliness of campus notifications of unconfirmed threats that are either directly or indirectly affecting students on campus, further utilization text notification systems and the CSUN Safe app to advise of local concerns. This would extend to concerns such as increased or heightened concentrated police activity, active operations, and heavy visibility of ICE and or any attempts by ICE to enter, station, observe, review, or visit the campus of CSUN, as well as its auxiliaries and partners. This was suggested to go to University Affairs, and it will go to University Affairs. And the very last one is from Senator Gavino, which was sent actually at 10:03 a.m., titled "Revisiting Club Custodial Fees." The request is to revisit the referral and recommendation to subsidize mandatory custodial fees for student organizations, use of large classrooms and campus facilities. This was suggested to go to University Affairs, and it will go to University Affairs. Are there any announcements? We'll start with Senator Dominguez.
Hey y'all, I'll make this quick. This is just a reminder. Last week I sent an email to you all about my project I'm working on, diversity and representation in collaboration with the DEI committee for the Cultural Unity Showcase. If y'all could please fill out that form so then it could be a better project. That would be really appreciated. Thank you.
There you go. Marcelo, go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Y'all already heard that we have a finance committee meeting 1, 2, 3
Tomorrow as well, we will be in the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences be having a Anthro Expo. That is from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. 9 a.m. to 11. There's tabling with professionals, 11:30 to 2. Student research poster sessions, 2:30 to 5. Networking event to learn about the different projects. This is also, I've also been asked to highlight this because there are 2 Project Rebound scholars who will be presenting at this Anthro Expo. That'll be February 17th in the Furman Presentation Room inside the University Library. On the 19th, there is a student also from Project Rebound who is doing a workshop called From Lived Experience to Livelihood, discussing his experience post-incarceration and also expanding and building a successful social media campaign and presence. The final announcement I have is, as some of you may have seen, in Sierra Hall, Jerome Richfield, there have been posters called The King We Don't Quote. This is another project by Project Rebound. This is specifically highlighting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quotes that were not as prominently demonstrated during the movement or afterwards in education, and also featuring comparisons by these same Project Rebound students, formerly incarcerated students, as to how it relates to our present day reality. Please check them out. They're scattered throughout. There is one on the 3rd floor by the Project Rebound Bulletin. That's room 381. And in Jerome Richfield Hall by the Chicano Studies lobby space. Thank you.
All right, who's next? Senator Dominguez.
Also, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Layer 8, the student org of my college. They made it through the first round of qualifiers for the competition that they're currently in, and so I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, shout out to our women's water polo team, who is ranked number 25th in the entire country. For those of you guys that don't know, every single team at CSUN is a Division 1 team. So I believe it is very, very important for us to give our athletes their flowers because they are so dedicated to our university. So please attend one of the games this week if you guys are able to. And please let me know if you guys end up wanting to go to the basketball game on Saturday, please. I know I said we'd meet in the office, but if none of you guys let me know, then I might not come to the office. So please let me know. Okay. And that is it. We are now going to move into final roll call.
Vice President Emiliano Aragon.
Here.
Senator Arias Gomez.
Here.
Senator Atias.
Here.
Senator Basilio.
Here.
Senator Baywa.
Here.
Senator Cabrera Figueroa.
Here.
Senator Contreras.
Here.
Senator Cunanan.
Here.
Senator Dominguez.
Here.
Senator Garcia.
Here.
Senator Gavino.
Here.
Senator Kachidia. Senator Kodka.
Here.
Senator Mane.
Here.
Senator Luna.
Here.
Senator Quiroga.
Here.
Senator Radianov.
Here.
Senator Ramirez.
Here.
Senator Umana.
Here.
Senator Vicente.
Here.
Okay, and I adjourn this meeting at 10:50 a.m. Please do not leave the Grand Salon. We are going to be taking a picture, so just move to the middle, please.